I couldn't believe it, but baby oil is the absolute insider tip for the household, because there are 7 incredible tricks with baby oil that almost nobody knows, but everyone really should know, simply because they are so ingenious. I'll show them to you here and you'll be amazed. For the first trick, we want to mix baby oil with cloves, but in a slightly different way than you might think. The first step is to use vodka. You should pour 150 milliliters of this into a small bottle, because now we want to spice it up with cloves. In other words, add a good handful of cloves to the mixture and leave them to soak. This is because the ingredient from the cloves will pass into the vodka water. Therefore, leave it to stand for at least 24 hours or even a little longer. You can stir or shake it every now and then. Then grab a sieve and pour the liquid through it, because all we need is the liquid. You can now dispose of the cloves. But now we need the baby oil in the next step. You should add 2 tablespoons of this. As soon as you have this in the mixture, you should stir everything really well again. Now you need a spray bottle, ideally a small one that you can easily carry around in your handbag or jacket pocket. Now pour the entire mixture in here and then put the spray head back on. And always carry it with you when you're out and about, because you can spray yourself with it at any time, because this is an incredibly good homemade mosquito repellent that keeps mosquitoes completely away from you. But did you know that you can also use baby oil on your car, on specific parts? To do this, you should apply a small amount of baby oil to a microfiber cloth, as you can see here. Now go to the plastic parts on the outside of your car, for example, because you can now rub them with the baby oil, and after rubbing over them a few times, you can immediately see that the plastic is really shiny again and looks like new. This is particularly helpful if it was already rather dull and lackluster beforehand. This usually makes the car look much older. This trick will really brighten it up again. Of course, it also works on the plastic parts inside your car, such as the cockpit or, as you can see below, the seat. You can even clearly see where I wiped over with the baby oil and where I didn't. The difference is really striking, and once you've rubbed it all in, it looks as good as new again. Before I show you a few really incredible tricks, let's talk about the shovel. Because if you use a shovel like this in your garden, you know the problem that soil always sticks to it when you use it. To avoid this, you simply need a very small amount of baby oil. First clean your shovel completely and then put a small amount of the baby oil back on a microfiber cloth and rub the shovel with it. Not only will it now look really shiny again, but the soil will no longer stick to it and simply slide off. This way the shovel really does remain completely clean at the end. And the next 3 tricks are incredibly ingenious. Or did you know that you can also use baby oil in your sink? Of course, you shouldn't pour it down the drain, but only use it directly in the sink. But first you have to clean the sink if it looks like this, or even worse. Once it is clean, you only need one more tool, and that is a paper towel. You can also use a microfiber cloth. Put a very small amount of the baby oil on here again, and then start rubbing through your entire sink. You may need to add more baby oil in between, depending on how big your sink is. In the end, we don't want to have a very large amount of the baby oil distributed in the sink, but only rub the surface very lightly with it. This has 2 immediate advantages. The first is that everything looks really shiny and bright again because you've been able to treat the stainless steel a little with it. And the second advantage is that water no longer sticks to it so easily, it just slides off. In the end, this also means that limescale stains appear much less frequently and more slowly, so you don't have to clean the sink as often as before. And since I promised you 3 incredible tricks, the second one is to put a small amount of baby oil back on a paper towel and rub it into your tap. Here too, you should ideally have cleaned it completely beforehand. Because here we have exactly the same effect that water no longer sticks to it so easily, but only slips down and new limescale stains no longer appear so quickly. So here too, you will have to clean your tap much less often in future. And since this trick works on all stainless steel surfaces, I'll now show you how you can even use it on your oven. This has another incredible advantage and solves a problem that you are certainly familiar with. Again, rub the outside of your clean oven with a microfiber cloth with a little baby oil on it. In the end, you will see that everything shines beautifully again. And the next advantage is that fingerprints can no longer appear so quickly. You can press on it with your finger and you won't see any fingerprints as long as the protective layer remains in place. And if you want to avoid pain in future when you have to tear off a plaster, all you need is a little baby oil. Either apply this to a cloth and then rub it into a plaster, or apply it directly to the 2 adhesive surfaces. Leave it to soak for a while, and then you will see that you can easily remove the plaster. This is because the baby oil dissolves the adhesive, so you no longer have to tear at it and cause yourself pain when you pull out the hair. If you would now like to know more tricks that almost nobody knows, but really everyone should know, then watch the video that you now see on the screen. Click directly on it.